to the Rundown with Dr. Sierra, where we discuss all things running. I know we had a little bit of a hiatus last year, but now we're back and definitely going to try to be more consistent this year. So let's jump on into our first episode of 2023. Typically, at the beginning of the year, everyone has their New Year's resolution, what they're going to do. And a lot of them typically are, I want to lose weight, I want to be more healthy. So if you are one of those people and you've made that resolution, then today's episode is for you. Today we're talking about just being new to running, introduction to running. Where do I start? What do I do? There's so many questions that I'm going to answer for you today, and hopefully this will help you on your healthy journey for 2023. So the first thing I want you to do is to create a goal. You can say, oh, I want to be healthy or I want to lose 20 pounds, but what does that look like? How are you actually going to incorporate that into your year? How are you going to be consistent? How are you going to make that happen? So first, you're going to start with your goal. And once you have your goal, you're going to break it down to something that you can actually achieve. Like if you're saying, oh, I want to lose 50 pounds in a month, that's not realistic, and that's not something that typically you're going to be able to keep up. So why don't you make a more achievable goal and breaking that down to just a few pounds every month, and that way by the time you hit December of 23, you would have achieved that goal. Now, if your goal is to be more active, I want you to create some type of plan that you can stick to. Saying that you're going to work out 5 to 7 times a week may not be realistic, may not be able to go according to your schedule. So you just have to do something that's going to work. You have to force yourself to do whatever it is that you are planning to do. You're going to stick to it and just make a goal that you will be able to achieve. So whether it's just working out for 10 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, whatever it is, you have to just make sure that you set your goal, that you're consistent, and that you make sure that you follow through. Don't be one of those people who, oh, it's January, okay, I'm going to go hard for the first couple weeks, and now you fall back into your routine. For 23, we're going to make sure we're forcing ourselves to do something different. Step out of the box so we can actually achieve our goal. So since this is a running channel, I'm going to apply our goal to running, and you can use it in different ways, walking, exercising, whatever it is. But for today's purpose, we're going to talk about running. So if your goal is to get back to running, I want you to first determine what kind of running will you be doing? You could be running on a track, you could be running on a trail, you could be running outdoors, you could be running on a treadmill. All of those are different types of running. So first you have to determine what type of running you're going to be doing. Now, me personally, I definitely feel like treadmill running is easier for me just because the treadmill is determining my speed and I don't really have to think much about it. Now, when I go outside and run, those runs are definitely a little bit more challenging. However, I do enjoy outdoor running more. So just determine what type of running you're going to start off with. If I were a super new beginner runner, I would definitely get on the treadmill just so you can kind of get your pace together. You can, in that time, start working on your endurance and your speed. It will all come later, but first just get used to getting on the treadmill, being consistent and working toward that goal of your 30 minutes a day, whatever it may be. The second thing that I want you to do is to invest in some proper running gear. If your goal is to be healthy, you want to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success. So with that being said, I want you to find a way, the cheapest way possible, to get some workout gear. First and foremost, you want to make sure that you have awesome shoes. We talk about injury prevention so much on this channel. So the last thing that I want you to do is to be ready to go and work out and then you injure yourself because you're not ready the proper way. So you want to make sure that you invest in a good pair of shoes, whether that be for walking or running. You just want to make sure that your feet are protected, your feet are comfortable, and that you are able to follow through with your workouts. You don't want to start getting your rhythm and say, oh, my feet are killing me, because you don't have the proper shoes on. So just make sure that you get something that's comfortable for your feet, or else it will be really difficult to get your workout then. The other thing you want to make sure that you do is that you're wearing the proper clothing. So if you are a runner, and depending on the area or region that you live in, it may vary, but overall, you just want to make sure that you have some light wick, some easy breathing clothing that you can put on. You don't want to wear a lot of heavy clothing. It'll weigh you down while you're running. You want to make sure that the clothes are breathable, that your body is able to release all the sweat that you're producing while you're running. You want to make sure that you're comfortable. For the ladies, you want to make sure that you invest in a really good sports bra. It makes all the difference while you're running. And when you're running and you're noticing that you're uncomfortable and you're focusing on that and not focusing on your run. So my suggestion is to make sure that you invest in a really good sports bra, some light airwick, some free flowing clothes, and you want to also make sure that you have some really good shoes that will protect your feet when you're walking or running. So next up, for all the super new runners, I want you to just start with the run walk method. Now, what is this? You may have heard it before. You are going to set a time. Whatever you committed yourself to, whether that be I'm going to exercise for 10 minutes a day, I'm going to exercise for 30 minutes a day, whatever that is, I want you to start off with your run. You just try and go however long you think you can run. And when you feel like, okay, I'm kind of to my limit, I don't think I can run anymore, then you stop and you walk. And then you kind of rest a little bit as you're walking. You gain your energy back up. You're able to catch your breath a little bit. And then you go back to running. And you continue that for your, let's just say, 30-minute time period. You don't try to do more than you can. And if your goal is to get to 30 and you aren't able to do that in the beginning, that's fine. Whether it's just 15 minutes, the idea is that you're getting out there, you're trying, you're doing it. And the real thing is that you want to make sure that you're consistent. So whatever you do, make sure that you're consistent with your exercises. Set yourself up for success and not failure. Don't try to say, oh, I'm going to do an hour and you haven't worked out in years. You got to build yourself up so that your body is used to what you're doing now. If you are used to sitting on the couch and not doing a whole lot, it may be a lot all at one time, but over time it's going to get easier. You just have to hang in there. As I just mentioned, I really want you to focus on your time. I want you to just set that number, like I said, as the example, 30 minutes, and then just really focus on making sure you can achieve those 30 minutes consistently. After you have gotten a little bit more comfortable, then we can start focusing on your speed and your endurance. You want to just focus on one thing at a time and build on each one as you're going along this fitness journey. Don't try to do too many things at one time because it can be very overwhelming and can discourage you from wanting to continue. So just let's focus on one thing and then we'll move on to the next thing as we progress a little bit further. The next tip that I want to give you is making sure that you're stretching and hydrating your body. It is so important. If you have not been exercising, and even if you have, it's still important to do some form of stretching before your workout. Now, if you are a runner and you have been watching some of these videos, you know that I'm going to suggest that you do a dynamic warm-up prior to your workout. Now, if you are going to be walking, I still want you to try and get in some form of stretching. And then once we're finished this workout, then you're going to do a static stretch and just kind of cool your body down. So dynamic is just moving. So anything that you would typically do in standing, just do it in movement, add some movement to it so that you can get get your blood flowing, get those exercise ready so that your body is not in shock when you're first starting out on your run. And also, I want you to make sure that you are hydrating your body. The temperature is very obviously dependent on where you're living, but it is still very important to make sure that your body is hydrated during any form of exercise that you're doing, whether you're walking or you're running, because your body is warming up. So you're going to produce some form of sweat and your body can become dehydrated while you're running. So you don't want that to be an issue. You're into your run, you're into your walk, and you're doing amazing and you're having a good time, but then you're like, hey, oh, I'm just not feeling that well. You're starting to get dehydrated. So make sure that you put something into your body before you go out for your run. And if necessary, just carry something with you while you're running and expelling all of that sweat and energy so that you don't begin to maybe feel lightheaded or nauseous. You just want to make sure that you're giving your body everything that it needs so that you're able to be successful. So my next tip is to take breaks. I know we may say, oh, I'm going to work out every single day of 23, or I'm only, going to take a day or so off, I think it is very important to take some days off. I think it is important to have rest days. It's important to take breaks. Your body needs some way to recover. You can't say I'm going to work out 7 days a week. That is just not great for your body. At some point over time, you're going to start to break down because your body needs that time to recover. I'm not saying that you can't do some form of exercise. And maybe if you are a runner and you're like, I'm going to run 5 to 7 times out of the week. All right, that's awesome. You still need to incorporate, use one of those days for a rest day, or maybe you use one of those days for cross training. That's important as well. Like still moving your body, but not such a hard or intense workout, because your body does need that recovery time. So as I always say, have a little grace with yourself and just incorporate something different, a rest day. If that's what your body is telling you that it needs, then listen to your body. Give your body that time to just kind of rest, recuperate, and then you'll be coming for your next workout or exercise. You'll be that much more stronger. So just give your body some grace. Do what you need to do. Make sure your workouts or runs count on the days that you actually do it. And then when you have that rest day, take that time to actually rest, and your workouts are going to be just that much more better the next time that you go, because you allowed your body to just kind of like calm down, rest, let your muscles recover. It's what your body needs and what your body craves in order for you to be successful. So I know that this is only the second day of 2023, but let's just say you started your workout a little bit earlier, or you are watching this video after the second and you've been doing your exercises for a little bit and you're like, Dr. Sierra, I have tried to work out, but when I do, my body is just hurting so much. My legs are so sore. I can barely even walk. Don't give up. What you're feeling and experiencing is called DOMS. It's delayed onset muscle soreness. So that happens typically, you take long breaks from working out. Your body is just getting readjusted to working out. Your muscles, you haven't used them in a long time. And so your body it's just your body's way of just getting all that lactic acid out, and your body is just trying to recover. The worst thing that you could possibly do is, because you feel that soreness, to just completely stop your workouts. You want to make sure that you are still incorporating that stretching. It will go away. It will go away in a few days. So don't give up just because you feel that soreness in your legs or maybe your arms. Whatever it is a normal process. So I don't want you to be discouraged if you feel pain. Obviously, if it's something a little bit more severe, maybe if you are working out and you're only feeling that pain on one side, then that's definitely something you want to pay a little bit more attention to, because typically it's going to be on both sides. But if you feel an isolated pain in a certain area, that's something that you want to pay attention to, and if need be, follow up with your doctor. Now, the last tip that I want to give you to set you up for success in 23 while you're exercising, running, just establishing a more healthy lifestyle, is to work on your breathing. Now, when you're walking, I'm sure most people can pretty much keep that rhythm while they're breathing and don't typically have a hard time. Maybe walking up a hill, your breathing may change a little bit, or if you're walking at a super fast speed, it may be difficult, or just if you're very deconditioned, you're very out of shape, and maybe your breathing is hard in that aspect. The options or the possibilities, they vary. Everyone is different. But if you are running, one thing that I want to give you a tip for is that you could possibly try the 2-2 breathing pattern. So when you take 2 steps, you're going to take a deep breath in, and then you take 2 more steps and you're going to breathe out. Now, if you continue that pattern while you're breathing, especially for our beginners, it's something that you can just think of in your head. You're like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and you just kind of keep that rhythm, then that would be good while you're running. And it's a pretty simple method that you can do to just kind of keep yourself on track. You're not trying to breathe too hard or too fast, and it kind of will throw your run off. So you get that breathing under control. With all the other things that we discussed, I think that you'll set yourself up for an awesome 2023. These are just a few tips to get you started. If you're super new and you have other questions that I didn't cover today, then go ahead and leave them below. Make sure you subscribe to our channel for 2023. We have some great things coming your way, and we hope that you enjoyed today's episode, our first one of 2023. We look forward forward to having an awesome and amazing year. Thank you for all the people who do follow and do watch all of our episodes. And we will see you next time on The Rundown with Dr. Sierra, where we discuss all things running. Happy running!